Have you ever woken up and felt a quiet ache in your heart because the world feels a little smaller, simply because your legs don't carry you like they used to? As a doctor who has spent years helping seniors regain their independence, I know that losing your mobility feels like losing a part of your soul. But what if the secret to standing tall at 90 wasn't found in a bottle of pills, but in the vibrant purple soil and sea-salted air of Okinawa, Japan? Today, we are exploring how Okinawans maintain legs of steel, even in their 10th decade, through a unique diet of muscle-rebuilding superfoods and a lifestyle that honors every movement. Before we begin, I'd love to know where are you watching this from and what time is it for you right now. Please let me know in the comments below. I truly look forward to reading them. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Imagine you are walking through a sun-drenched field in Okinawa, where the soil is rich and the air smells of the sea. There, tucked away in the earth, is the Beni-imo, a vibrant purple sweet potato that serves as the very foundation of life for the village elders. As a doctor, I often tell my patients that what we put on our plates is the most powerful prescription we can write. For the people of Okinawa, this humble root vegetable is not just a side dish. It is a slow-burning fuel that keeps their muscles firing without the sudden insulin spikes we often see with processed starches. It is a complex carbohydrate that respects your body's natural rhythm, providing steady energy throughout the day so you don't feel that mid-afternoon crash that makes your legs feel like lead. I remember a patient of mine, let's call him Robert, a retired teacher from Ohio, who suffered from chronic leg cramps that kept him awake every night. He felt helpless, thinking his body was simply failing him. I shared with him the secret of the Beni-imo. You see, one of the primary reasons Okinawan elders remain so agile is the staggering amount of potassium found in these potatoes, up to 799 milligrams per serving. Potassium is like the electrical conductor for your body. It regulates the signals between your nerves and your muscles, ensuring that every movement is smooth and intentional. When we combine this with the magnesium found in their diet, which supports the relaxation phase of the muscle, we find a natural remedy for the stiffness and chronic cramps that so often rob our seniors of their joy in movement. But the magic of the purple potato goes even deeper than minerals. That deep royal purple color comes from high levels of anthocyanins, a powerful group of antioxidants. Think of these anthocyanins as a specialized cleaning crew for your muscle fibers. Throughout our lives, our bodies produce free radicals as a byproduct of breathing and moving, which can damage the tiny power plants inside our cells called mitochondria. For someone over 60, this oxidative stress can weaken the very structure of the muscle. By eating Beni-imo, Okinawans are sending in a shield that sweeps away these harmful particles, protecting the integrity of their muscle fibers, so they stay strong and resilient even at 90. This internal protection is what allows them to keep walking, gardening, and living life on their own terms, and it is a gift we can all invite into our own kitchens. As we look at how this vibrant potato nourishes the foundation of the legs, it's also important to understand where the building blocks of the muscles themselves come from. This leads us to another staple of the Okinawan table, a unique type of protein that offers strength without the burden of inflammation. In my years of clinical practice, I often hear my patients express a common concern. They feel they must eat large amounts of red meat to keep their muscles from wasting away. However, for many people, over 60 heavy animal proteins can sometimes trigger internal inflammation, making joint pain even harder to manage. This is why I find the Okinawan approach so revolutionary. Instead of relying on heavy meats, they turn to Shima-tofu or island tofu to maintain their leg strength. This is not the soft, watery tofu you might find on a typical supermarket shelf. Shima-tofu is made using a traditional namashibori, or raw squeeze method, and is coagulated with natural seawater or nigari. This unique process creates a tofu that is much denser and contains 1.3 times more protein than the regular variety. For an Okinawan elder, eating this tofu twice a day, perhaps in a warm bowl of miso soup, or a vegetable stir-fry called chanpuru, provides all the essential amino acids needed to maintain muscle mass without the inflammatory reactions often caused by red meat. What makes this island tofu truly special from a medical perspective is the gift it receives from the ocean. Because it is prepared with seawater, it is infused with vital trace minerals like magnesium, calcium, iron, and zinc. These minerals act as essential biological catalysts, supporting both bone density and the enzymes that allow your muscles to function. I often think of an elderly woman I met in a small coastal village in Okinawa. Even in her late 80s, she moved with a steady, rhythmic grace as she prepared her family's meals. She told me that Shima-tofu was her strength from the sea. By choosing this clean, mineral-rich protein, she was nourishing her body while keeping her joints cool and free from the heat of inflammation. It is a beautiful reminder that we can build strength and protect our mobility with foods that are as gentle as they are powerful. But having the right building blocks for our muscles is only half of the story. Our bodies also need a way to ensure that the energy we consume actually reaches those muscle fibers instead of being stored where we don't need it. This brings us to a very special bitter vegetable that acts as a master conductor for your body's energy. In my medical practice, I often see patients who struggle with the frustrating paradox they may be gaining weight around their middle, yet their legs feel increasingly weak and hollow. This happens because as we age, our bodies sometimes lose the ability to send energy where it is truly needed. In Okinawa, they have a remarkable solution for this called Goya, or bitter melon. This bumpy emerald green vegetable is a staple of shokuiku, the Japanese philosophy of food education, which teaches that what we eat is our first line of medicine. Goya is famous for its bitter punch, but its true power lies in how it optimizes glucose partitioning within the senior body. It acts like a master traffic controller, ensuring that the fuel from your meals doesn't just sit in your bloodstream or turn into stubborn fat, but instead finds its way into your hard-working muscle tissues. This biological magic is driven by natural compounds like charentan, which help shuttle energy directly to the muscles to be burned for strength. For someone over 60, this is a game changer because it addresses the root cause of metabolic muscle wasting. I once worked with a patient named Arthur who felt he was losing his get up and go despite eating a balanced diet. We looked at the Okinawan example of how bitter flavors can actually wake up the metabolism. By incorporating the principles found in Goya, we can help prevent the muscle atrophy that so often leads to a loss of independence in our later years. It's about maintaining the quality of the muscle, keeping it dense, active, and ready for a morning stroll or a day spent in the garden. While managing energy is vital, many of my patients find that their biggest obstacle to movement isn't a lack of strength, but the rust of inflammation that makes every step feel like a chore. To soothe these internal storms, the Okinawan people turn to ancient herbs that act as a gentle natural balm for the joints and the blood. Even with the right fuel and protein, many of my patients find that their biggest obstacle to movement is the rust of chronic inflammation. In Okinawa, the kitchen is often the first pharmacy, and two specific herbs stand out as guardians of the joints and blood: ukan, or turmeric, and yomogi, known as mugwort. Ukan is more than just a vibrant spice. It contains a powerful compound called curcumin. From a medical perspective, curcumin is a potent inhibitor of the very pathways that cause chronic inflammation, specifically the markers known as NF-kappa B and TNF-alpha. By quieting these internal alarms, turmeric helps reduce the systemic inflammation that leads to the persistent pain and stiffness so many of you feel in your hips and knees. I often remember a patient named Martha who felt like her gears were grinding every morning. Once she began incorporating these natural anti-inflammatories into her daily life, she found she could move with a grace and ease she hadn't felt in years. Complementing the power of turmeric is yomogi, or Japanese mugwort, which is often enjoyed in a soothing soup or as a warm, fragrant tea. In the Okinawan tradition, mugwort is prized for its ability to warm the body from the inside out. This isn't just a comforting sensation. It actually serves to improve blood circulation to the extremities, ensuring that your legs and feet receive a full supply of oxygen and vital nutrients. For your muscles to recover and stay strong, they need this constant delivery service to repair fibers after a day of activity. By ensuring this vital flow reaches your limbs, mugwort acts as a silent partner in your physical recovery, keeping your foundation resilient and ready for tomorrow. As we learn to soothe the inflammation and improve the flow within our bodies, we must also look at the overall balance of how we eat. It's not just about the individual foods, but a very specific, almost counterintuitive ratio of nutrients that keeps the Okinawan elders so youthful at a cellular level. In my clinic, I often see patients who believe they must load up on heavy steaks and protein shakes to save their muscles from aging. But the wisdom of Okinawa teaches us a very different, almost startling lesson known as the 1-to-10 ratio. Their traditional diet consists of just 9% protein and a staggering 85% of unrefined carbohydrates, mostly from those purple sweet potatoes we discussed earlier. This low-protein, low-calorie approach is not about deprivation. It is about biological efficiency. By keeping protein intake modest, they effectively inhibit a cellular signaling pathway called mTOR, which is closely linked to the aging process. Instead of constant growth, their bodies prioritize a process called autophagy. Think of it as a cellular spring cleaning, where the body identifies and removes damaged proteins inside the muscle fibers. This unique nutritional balance also activates a protein called AMPK, which helps increase mitochondrial biogenesis, keeping the muscle tissue metabolically active even at an advanced age. I remember Sarah, a vibrant 70-year-old patient who was constantly worried she wasn't eating enough meat to stay strong. When we explored the Okinawan balance together, focusing on high-quality unrefined fuels, she was surprised to find her energy levels becoming more stable. By giving the body a break from heavy protein processing, we allow it to focus on repairing and renewing itself from the inside out. It is a profound shift from the more is better mindset to a balance is key philosophy that protects the legs and the heart simultaneously. While what we eat builds the foundation, the Okinawan people know that nutrition alone is not enough to maintain legs of steel. They combine this special diet with a way of living that turns their very homes into a natural training ground. This leads us to a simple habit practiced daily on the floor that keeps their joints as flexible as a teenager's. In my practice, I've seen many patients who have the most comfortable recliners in the world, yet their legs are getting weaker every day. This is because nutrition alone, no matter how perfect, cannot create healthy legs without what we call mechanical stimulus. In Okinawa, their secret weapon is the Tatami lifestyle, where the very structure of their home encourages constant movement. They don't rely on high sofas or soft armchairs. Instead, they live, eat, and socialize on the floor. Think about the physical effort required to sit down on the floor and stand back up dozens of times throughout the day. From a medical standpoint, this acts as a series of natural squats that continuously build the strength of the quadriceps, the glutes, and the core. It is a workout hidden in plain sight, ensuring that the muscles stay engaged and vital without ever needing to step foot in a traditional gym. I remember a patient named Eleanor, a vibrant woman in her late 70s who struggled with balance. We discussed how the Okinawan elders maintain their agility, and she decided to start practicing floor-to-standing transitions a few times a day. She told me it felt like her legs were finally waking up after years of sitting in deep cushions. This simple habit, combined with the traditional seiza sitting posture, is vital because it maintains the flexibility of the ankle joints, a key factor in preventing falls as we age. Furthermore, most Okinawan seniors spend time in their gardens every single day. This daily ritual of bending, reaching, and tending to the earth provides a comprehensive range of motion that keeps the joints limber and the spirit high. It is a beautiful synergy where the environment and the body work together to preserve independence and strength long into the 90s and beyond. Now that we understand how the Okinawans move within their homes, you might be wondering how to translate these ancient secrets into your modern American life. How can you adapt these blue zone habits without needing a tatami mat or a Japanese garden? Let's look at some simple, practical steps you can take starting today to bring the strength of Okinawa into your own living room. You might be wondering how to bring the spirit of Okinawa into your own American home, especially if you don't have a tatami mat or a traditional Japanese garden. The good news is that these powerful principles are remarkably simple to adapt. I often suggest to my patients that they start in the produce aisle by looking for the vibrant purple-fleshed sweet potatoes, which are the closest cousins to the Okinawan Beni-imo. By choosing these over the standard white potato, you are inviting in those 799 milligrams of potassium that act as a natural conductor for your leg muscles. These supercarbs provide a slow and steady fuel that won't cause the insulin spikes common with processed breads, giving your body a chance to focus on repairing your muscle fibers through the power of anthocyanins. Next, let's rethink our protein. While we may not always find traditional Shima-tofu, you can look for the extra firm varieties in your local health food store, which mimic that dense muscle-building texture. If you can find tofu made with nigari or sea salt, you are gaining that 1.3 times higher protein content and those vital C minerals that protect your bone density. Try incorporating this clean protein into a warm stir-fry with a little bit of bitter melon or Goya if you can find it at an Asian market. Even just a small amount of this bitter vegetable can help your body shuttle energy directly to your muscles instead of storing it as fat. It is a simple way to practice shokuiku, the Okinawan art of food education, right in your own kitchen. Finally, we can bring the Tatami lifestyle into our living rooms through small, intentional movements. You don't have to sit on the floor all day, but practicing the motion of sitting down on a low chair and standing back up, essentially a gentle squat, can build that vital strength in your thighs and core. Aim for the Okinawan ratio of 1:10, focusing on high-quality, unrefined carbohydrates while keeping your protein intake modest at around 9%. This balance encourages your body to perform its own cellular house cleaning, removing old damaged proteins to make way for fresh, strong muscle fibers. As you sip on a warm cup of turmeric or mugwort tea to soothe your joints, remember that these small daily choices are the steps that lead to a long life of independence. My dear friends, as we come to the end of our journey today, I want you to remember that your body is a remarkable vessel capable of renewal at any age. By embracing the wisdom of Okinawa, the purple earth, the strength of the sea, and the rhythm of daily movement, you are not just feeding your muscles. You are reclaiming your freedom. Whether it is choosing a purple sweet potato for its potassium, or simply standing up from your chair with purpose, each small act is a victory for your independence. You are not helpless against the passage of time. You are the architect of your own strength. I believe in your ability to stand tall and walk with confidence once again. Please note that the health-related information on YouTube does not apply to everyone and is not medical advice. If you have health concerns, you should contact a doctor or hospital for advice. If you think you have an emergency, contact your doctor or call your local emergency number.